daily life, maybe in a business that you're starting, maybe to get a bit creative, maybe to help in the organisation that you're working within. Just a quick question, I know this will be useful for Matt, I know I asked this last time, but it's a kind of another straw poll. How many of you are running your own business currently? So have got a business, trading or starting a business? So, just a couple of you, okay. And I'm going to then assume that the rest of you are working within a corporate or a business, so you're an employee of maybe a manager, or you're doing a particular role, yes?
Most of us usually have jobs and
yeah,
business.
And then you have your side hustles. Yeah, absolutely. So I just want you to understand what's important here. This is not about if you want to start a business. Okay, what you're going to see can be used in so many different ways, but we're going to look at it as starting and taking an idea and turning it into something. Just like you were working out earlier in that half hour, 40 minutes you had, let's brainstorm an idea, which you did. We had the travel, we had the security, we had the recycling, and we had the logistics. Okay, we've got 4 options that we can play with this afternoon anyway. I'll let Matt lead on that. But just think outside of that. What if you're working within the business, okay, that you work for, and they want to look at a new way of doing something? Think about how you can use these tools for day-to-day operations, outputs, smarter thinking, better collaboration, etc. And I think you're going to be I hope you're going to be amazed and to a degree blown away with what you're going to see now and how you can take it away and start using it. Just also add, everything you're going to see, and Matt will point out, is the majority of what you're going to see, I think nearly 90% of it, you don't need to pay for anything. I think that's quite a crucial thing. You can just download the tools that are available. Of course, if you're going to start doing lots and lots of it, then you will need to upgrade to the monthly subscription or something like that. But Matt will point out when he goes through the tools, give a rough idea of costs and stuff like that as well. Right, I'm going to shut up, hand over to Matt, because we're limited on time. We've got quite a lot to cover. Pay attention, we are recording this. And Matt can always make this available afterwards, but hopefully you're going to take some notes and mentally store it as well. Over to you, Matt. I'll jump in if I need to. Oh, go on.
Just a quick thing, I know you must be tired already hearing this. Please make sure you tap your attendance, and if you haven't or you don't have an ID card, please let us know. We scan the QR code. Thank you. Over to you, Matt.
Just make sure you do it before you leave.
Yeah.
Cool, perfect. Thank you very much, David. So, before I kind of jump into everything, who was it? It was you lot over there that did the travel agent one, right? Travel agency idea? Yeah. Yeah, that was you. Yeah. So when I jump into this, we're going to do a bit of back and forth, right? I just kind of want to show you very quickly some of the things that are achievable using these AI tools to give you an idea that someone who has no technical knowledge, if you have an idea, in this day and age, you can make it a reality very, very quickly. In one prompt, this tool, just that one paragraph, is a travel plan creation tool, right? This is one prompt, and it's generated this. At the moment, it doesn't do a lot, because it's one prompt. But I can ask it to integrate with various different applications. I can get it to connect to different APIs, and I could get it to find costs of flights, I could get it to find cost of accommodation, different types of accommodation, and all of this can be done relatively easily with low technical experience, low technical knowledge, right? So this is an app called bolt.new, and this is the paid version. The free version, you'll get quite a few prompts out of it. You'll be able to do this and take this a bit further, but obviously I've got the paid account on it, and it's only about $20, it's peanuts. So prior to this, we develop apps. Just to give you an idea, we develop applications for our clients, and to develop the front end, you would be looking at 10, 20, 30,000 pounds to develop some of the tools that we do. Now with these applications, we can 10x that. We can have a React developer that works with us, and we can build apps that would have cost £100,000, £200,000 for as little as £10,000, £20,000 now, because of how much easier it is to develop these tools. And for people that are looking to develop something themselves, the exciting thing is that you can do this yourself. You don't need somebody else to help you. You can build a full stack application using this and automation tools as well, get an MVP, get people paying for it, and then when you want to take it to the next step, looking at doing the proposal, trying to get investment from it, it's a lot easier to do that when you've got something tangible. Right, just to give you an idea of something that's possible, one prompt, that one sentence that I gave there, has given me this application. So just to give you an idea of what's doable, very, very, very easily. It's not difficult to do.
Matt, if we jump off that, that's not a screenshot.
Oh yeah.
That's it, you can actually fill in, so it's actually, that one prompt has created that, okay, it doesn't go off to the sky scanners and get all the prices and that, but that's another bit you'd add in just by going through the process. But the fact is, it's now actually interactive.
Yeah.
So it's a good demo page, for example.
Yeah, and you can deploy it really easily. They connect to databases, they connect to something called Netlify, so you can add your own domain to it really easily. And then to connect to things, you can use something called a webhook, where you can connect through to APIs, which is a buzz terminology that I'm sure we've all heard of. So it's just to give you that idea that anything is possible, and if you're not sure about it, you can quite literally ask an AI to help you and to walk you through the whole process. Right? I've learned all of this myself using AI as well, just to give you that understanding that anything's possible now. Do any of you use WhatsApp? We all use WhatsApp, right? Okay. One of the most difficult things to do when you are developing a product, a service, or anything like that, is to get somebody to use your service habitually. Right? It's a very challenging thing to do, to get someone to download your app and use it all the time. From our perspective, one of the things that we do a lot of is custom WhatsApp-based AI applications. And the benefit of that, everybody in the room just said, yep, we use WhatsApp. It's not going to be hard for me to get you to engage with a WhatsApp if I can say this is what it's going to give you. Right? So just to give you that, this here is a WhatsApp application that I have developed myself that will take information from whoever it is that wants to use it, and it will create a custom AI that will engage with you in exactly the way that you want it to. Right? So it will take information from you, it will ask you how you want it to respond to you, and then it's going to take things like website and stuff like that, and then it will interact with you. You can have a standard conversation, and then you can do research, company research, like extensive company research. You can give it a YouTube video. It will analyse the YouTube video. This one here, this is me asking it to create me a business plan. I've asked it to be sarcastic and humorous, and the rest of it, this is how I want it to engage with me. And then if I want to do research, I can give it a company domain. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give me an initial overview. This is a WhatsApp-based overview, then it's going to send me an email with all of that information. Right? And this is done with WhatsApp, and it connects to primary AIs that we've got the APIs for. So you're using Perplexity, Claude, those are two of our main ones. And then we use open source models through something called Grok. Right? Just to give you an idea of the things that are possible, and this is not outrageously difficult. Like, these things are much easier to do than you would think. If you want to test it out, you can test out our WhatsApp AI. You're welcome to give it a quick scan and have a little play with it. It will ask you some details, and then it will just basically engage with you after that. Right. Welcome to give that a go.
Leave that up there. We are going to allow you, once Matt's gone through the demo and shown you how to build a business or take your idea. So what we'll do is we'll put this QR code back up later, because then you can take your individual ideas and use this to build it.
Yeah. Just send the message. It will come up with a message that says demo. Send it straight away. That's going to trigger the event. That's going to get you signed up. So as soon as you scan it, takes you to WhatsApp, click send. This is beta. I only released this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It shouldn't explode, but I can't guarantee that it won't. Should be fine. Right, so that's basically it. So now we're going to dive into everybody's business idea that we were talking about. Who wants to go through their one, the reasoning behind it? I know you chaps had spoken to me, I quite liked your one. Did you want to go through yours and sort of tell me, walk me through that process, how far you've gotten so far?
You're our live demo.
I don't have to pick on you if anybody else wants
Yeah,
to
we've got to come up, you can
volunteer.
stay seated.
Yeah. So yours was, remind us?
So cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity, yeah.
So focuses on safeguarding company assets from cyber attacks.
Yeah.
Using integrated technology and firewalls.
Yeah.
To prevent bad actors using AI to anonymously access confidential data, etc.
How far did you get in the 25 minutes, half an hour that you had?
Okay, so we looked at key resources. We looked at who are the key partners on how to develop and deploy the particular services to our clients. So, and we looked at the cost element of it. So when you work with key partners, how much would it cost to design, develop, and deploy?
Yeah.
And then you calculate basically how much it will cost you throughout the year, and how can you scale it up to full-fledged tool that you can deploy to different companies within the market.
Yeah.
And then the channels that you use to support, small and medium enterprise businesses, and then mainly focus on healthcare, healthcare and school, educational entities, etc. Because these are some of the, like education, they have databases where personal data like student ID, student password, etc. So, and they don't have the capacity to spend, work with the likes of McAfee or antivirus to, they provide similar services but at a premium cost.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I just have a question, so because I noticed it's a WhatsApp conversation. How about the data privacy? Because it's asking a lot of questions over there. Where it's been, is it?
Yeah, so that's in our database, and it's stored in a secure database, Airtable, which has got fairly good security. So that's what we use. This is again a beta version of it. It's not taking anything sensitive.
No, I'm just wondering. So even if we, for example, let's launch something like this.
Yeah. Oh, if you were going to scale it,
What is the company going to record the user's data?
it can be deleted. If you just say delete it, it will remove it all.
So the company will not have it with them.
So it's only for us, not for anything else. The AIs are the AIs that you would use. So if you use GPT or Claude or Perplexity or any of those, it's no different to just jumping onto those.
Yeah.
When you use the connection, the API connection, it doesn't actually train on your data. So all of the API connections that we use will not train an AI on anything that you send through to it. And it uses something called SOC 2 certification. We use Make for the automation, which is ISO 27001, and then we use Airtable as our database, which again has high levels of security. So we do everything that we can. We're signed up for the ISO, all of those things. We tick all of the boxes that need to be ticked, right? And we make sure that it is. As soon as this is released as an actual product, there will be privacy settings, there will be all of these things. This is very much a beta, just to be clear, it's very much a beta. It's there for you to try out if you want to try it out. You're going to be talking to Claude and Perplexity and those sort of models. And essentially the only information in our database is just what you respond to so that it knows how to reply back to you. So the type of responses that you want to have, what your sort of goals, anything you want to give to it, you give it fake information, that's fine, just to test it out. It's very much a beta version.
But if you are going to put your email address in because you want the email content, you've got to make sure your email address is the right one, of course.
Because it will.
Otherwise it'll go to someone that's not expecting it.
Yeah. So you've got that file. What did you do? How did you get that information? When you're looking at doing the research aspect of it, how did you get the information?
so you want to go ahead?
Please, yeah.
Yes, actually, we try to expand our business operation.
Yeah.
And we made a good reputation for our cybersecurity. And the people sent for us a lot of offers to work with to save their document security system, and also to try to save the health check from the cyber attack.
Yeah.
And we're looking to, we have good revenue, we have good numbers. The brother Mohammed will speak about that after.
Yeah.
But we like to enter the other market, the GCC market, because now we just work in the Emirates.
Yeah.
And we're looking for the investors to do it, and for the numbers and how much we're improving since we built this company in 2000.
So it's a company that exists, right? This one that you're talking about.
So
Okay.
if I may echo, so basically the data, current data, so when you look at data in the market, you see that the cybersecurity investment by the government is increasing year by year.
Yeah.
And this triggered the opportunity for the idea to be scalable rather than focus on certain cyber activity and services. You look at scaling it up to, provide, health check, provide other, similar services within the context of cybersecurity that is mentioned by my colleague here.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have an idea on the cost estimate and particular to how the technology developed and evolved.
Yeah.
And we're working with the likes of Palto, maybe you're aware of Palo Alto, AWS, those companies that provide the foundation to support businesses to help, manage their cyber surveillance activities through their databases.
Okay. Where are you on this journey? Was it something that already existed before the sort of having a look into it today, or was it something that you sort of conceptualized when we were?
So that was an idea from, the original idea from the previous business entrepreneur
Okay.
that we conducted.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, it was established based on an existing company,
Okay.
a small business enterprise in Dubai,
Yeah.
and they focus on small businesses like small companies,
Yeah.
institutes, educational, small hospitals, pharmacies. Because the idea was to ensure that these services are accessible
Yeah.
and available for that businesses to be able to say, I want to protect my customer data,
Yeah.
but I don't have the cash
Okay.
capital cost to pay for the like of Microsoft or somebody.
Yeah, of course. Okay, no, that's interesting. And then in terms of, if we're looking at each step of that journey to come up with this idea initially and then name, etc. Have you got a company name in mind? Have you got stuff like that already?
Yeah, it's called Cyber with an E.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And then the research, how much time did you spend on the research aspect of it?
4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months. What was the process? Very, very quickly, run me through the research process that you
So
used.
mind mapping, so we started with mind mapping.
Yep.
And then we did the brainstorming session.
Yep.
We've looked at simulation, so we've put all, different process and see whether it was working or it's not, or it wasn't working.
Yep.
And then we've identified the main attributes, like the key activities that will work for a small business.
Yeah.
Based on the market appetite, and then we started building on that journey by identifying the key partners, key resources, marketing channels, and then you look at the segmentation, value proposition, and then the cost of it, and then what would be the economics, like how much are you going to generate money, or how are you going to make money to sustain your operating costs.
Okay. Fantastic. So quite a lot of time spent on research and all of those different aspects of it. Did you use AI during any of this journey?
So, because the university is not recommending using AI, we had to use research papers. So we had to go into
what I call the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, because some data, like AI, will not be able to access this data.
Yeah.
So you have to do it manually, especially for, let's say, cyber investment by government A or in UAE. It's very difficult to find that data. It's not available. So you had to go to the ministers, ask them for data to be provided. You had to send an email. They send you back the data, and this is what's happening.
So quite a long-winded process
Yes,
as well. Okay, excellent.
Okay. Yeah, just interesting to know. Very, very time-consuming finding all that information, right? So, in terms of using AI, would you be able to use it for researching rather than actually, building anything out for yourselves? Is that an okay thing to do?
So AI would organize your information properly. So we used it to organize the data, to structure the, build the chart, build the economics model, etc. So rather than spending time on Excel and creating pivot table, putting the numbers in, upload the document, see the numbers. Can you please prepare the pivot charts and the economics?
Okay.
So AI was helpful, and it takes split seconds compare how much you'd spend just to build one chart.
Yeah. Okay. And did you do like a competitor analysis? Did you do any of that stuff as well? Find out who the other players in the game would be at a similar level to what you're looking to do?
We did the pestle analysis, but again, certain information, unfortunately, if you say that in UK you have that information accessible, and if you ask AI, it will give you a reliable source of data.
Yeah.
But if you go to the UAE, it's difficult to find that information.
Yeah.
And then you have to access, entities to get.
Out of interest, is that because your data is filtered?
The data is not available. That's probably one of the reasons. So AI would not be able to find the data, but it will use the average conceptual kind of average without referencing it or trying to justify it.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not publicly accessible, and AI is going to be able to crawl it, right? Unless you can find the right one that would be able to do that.
Yeah.
What sort of?
For one of the example is the cybersecurity market is favorable market in the UAE. They would say yes. On what basis? Show me the references. Can you link that your statement with the reference, and it would not be able to.
What?
On what basis? On what studies? How do you say that it is?
What was the question?
Like, is cybersecurity is going to be something important for the UAE market? Like, is the UAE investing a lot on protecting data, privacy, etc., through technology, etc.?
Okay. That's fine. What ones have you used? What AIs did you use to try and find that information?
We used both Copilot and then we used ChatGPT.
GPT. Yeah. Okay.
And then we use is another tool which is actually for academic referencing.
Yep.
And you use that AI. You just take the Angelica library and say, "Can you please find me something similar to cybersecurity?" And then it will go to the Angelica library, and then it will start giving you all this different articles and books, and then with the pages and references.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Okay, cool. So that's one aspect, something that you've already sort of done a fair amount, which is good, and we're going to dive into certain aspects of that. I'm interested to know as well, so it was yours that was the travel agency, right? Was that you over there? Where were you on that journey? Was that conceptualised now, or is that something that you'd had previously?
No, something that we are planning to do.
Yeah? How far along the planning process are you?
Probably like the end of this year.
So yeah, how much time have you spent on it so far?
Actually, we just make it with the group that I work with.
Today, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What was the journey? Tell me that process real quick, please.
So basically, it's like travel agency.
Yeah.
So travel services, by the way, to provide for the tourism and travel levels. And we're planning to do with the AI because AI is like they have like specific tool that scheduled by the AI or something like for the survey or reality program. This kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You got the name? Have you got logo? Have you got anything like that yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, fantastic. Is there anybody else that had an idea? Again, I'm not going to put any pressure on anyone, but if anybody wants to share theirs, because I'm going to run through kind of a start to finish. If you were to leverage AI to business idea, conceptualization, logo, all of that stuff as well, because in a very short space of time, you can get all of those assets very, very quickly, and you can have a high level of consistency. And if you're not sure, you can ask the AI. But was there any other business in here? I'm trying to remember. I know there was a recycling one.
Recycling and logistics in the middle. So they come up with the idea of logistically moving goods from country to country, from person to person, rather than using an agency.
Okay, cool. I like it. Right then, I'm going to turn this on, and if we go from nothing to something, when we told you to start creating your business idea, and again, this is all very conversational, this is all very early doors, it's all easy enough to do. Claude is one of my preferred AIs. I get consistently good results from Claude. Claude listens to what I say. ChatGPT likes to lie more frequently, from my understanding and my experience. ChatGPT will often not do exactly what I want, but Claude will consistently give me good results. So that's the one that I've used. So when we said, go away, come up with a business idea, I've done exactly the same thing, and it's that same thinking process. The benefit of using an AI is that you can have that back and forth very, very quickly, and it's going to use the data that it's accrued from scanning all publicly available information to help you very quickly come up with different concepts and different ideas. I'm going at it from the perspective of, I need to help with a business idea. I've got nothing, so please help me figure that out. And it's using information that it's got that would help you come up with that. And it's simple things like, what are you good at, which is essential. If you can think of something that you're particularly good at, particularly interested in, these are going to be much better business ideas, something that you're genuinely passionate about. So you can go through that whole process, give it a good idea of what you're good at. I've put relationships, I've put business development and technology. So it gives us a few ideas. You can run through that whole process, and then before you know it, you've essentially got a baseline for a strategy. I've said let's go for number 3, and it's taken me through that whole process. And the business model canvas that we've suggested that you put together, it has essentially built that out for us. So very, very quickly, you've got that initial stage, and it's also helped us come up with a name, right? So coming up with a name can be one of the most challenging things for a business. You do obviously need to then cross-reference it, make sure the domains are available, all the rest of that. Again, that's a whole nother story. But in a very short space of time, I've managed to come up with the name for this, come up with the business model canvas, and then you can take it a step further and get the strategies and things like that as well, right? And then I can see it clearly. This is the artifact. Fairly neatly laid out, it's not perfect. I literally gave it a screenshot of the business model canvas that David had up here. I haven't gone into detail on this, I've just very, very quickly put it together on a few prompts. Right, so it's easy enough to do. And then, in terms of things like branding and logos and taking those next steps, having a business or doing anything like that, one of the most important things is consistency, making sure that it's looking good, making sure that your tone of voice is consistent throughout, and that you have something recognisable. So when you want to go to create a logo, one of the ones I'd probably suggest, if everybody here isn't super well versed on different AIs, this one is called Not Diamond. Right, this is chat.notdiamond.ai. The reason I would say this is a really good AI to consider is because rather than using ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or whatever one that I'm going to show you today, this one will use all of those. It will determine based on your query which AI to send it to, and it will give you 2 responses like it's done there, and you choose the response that you like the most, and it starts to learn what you want. So creativity, I must admit, GPT gets quite well, and then things that are more structured, Claude does a particularly good job. So when I send a query on here, it's going to send it through to the AIs it thinks is most suitable for that query, and then it gives me a choice of the ones that I need to use. So you say in a few prompts, in a few clicks, it's created me a logo, a business name, it's created me the business model canvas, and it kind of gets you on that journey and makes it a lot easier, and you can start to look at the different channels that you would use for that business. Right, so those are all good things. And then if we're looking at the research perspective, so you was obviously chatting that there's quite a lot of research that you've done on your tool. One of my absolute favourite things to do is the research for competitor analysis, finding out what's going on in the market. And from my experience, the best results I have had have been Perplexity. This is search-based AI. As you mentioned before, it doesn't give you the sources of the information. This one does. This one will link directly through to where it's found that information, various other bits like that. So it's going to make life significantly easier. And again, these are just the chat-based interfaces. So I'll put your query into here, and this is what's come up so far. So it's going to look for publicly accessible information. So it'll be finding articles, it'll be finding any publicly available just chat forums, that kind of thing, and then it will pull that information and you can compile that as well to make the time significantly easier.
This is not the be and end. What we're trying to do here is give you the opportunity, and you're going to do this, to kind of take an idea, okay? And again, we're talking about a business idea today, but of course it could be a product or a service for the organisation you work within. Take it and do that research, and then take it and with some basic prompts start to develop that idea. This is like in your teams of 3s and 4s that you're in, having another person there that's able to work on like 100 times. You know, they're like super duper intelligent, and they go off and they do the research and gather it all and then present it in a reasonably good presentable format. So for me, you know, having a good AI is like just having a really good person in your team. But we talked earlier, people by people, and you are important. This is not today, okay, this is not a replacement for the people. This is a tool to enable and be able to get more out. What I'd like to do, Matt, is there's always a danger, okay? I've worked with technology for many years, and whenever you do live demos, there's always a danger things don't go to plans. But I'm hoping today we can make something happen. So what I want to do is take from fresh, not the ideas that we've thought about, because I want you to work on those in a short while, but take something absolutely random. Yeah? Yep. So what we're going to do, we're going to do some randomisation. So someone give me a idea, whatever it is.
Or an industry.
Or an industry, okay,
Start with
where do you want to start? Start with an industry. So let's take an industry, where do we go? Just think something random, shout it out. Okay, so
Vague, alright, we'll start with
we'll
that.
start with technology, go on then. So technology.
Physical or digital?
Digital.
Technology. Okay, fantastic. An idea within digital technology, you know, something that serves a purpose.
Human being. Serve the human being.
Sorry, wait, I can't answer.
Serve the human being.
Serve a human being.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elaborate, serve a human being.
So are we talking like a digital product that
For
could
humans,
be,
yeah, for humans, yeah.
that might be what, like around well-being? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I see, okay, so
Okay,
well-being application.
So
right?
well-being application.
Okay.
Yeah, let's draw it down a
Start
little
with
bit.
that, right.
So technology, app-based, well-being, health and well-being. So we're literally just kind of, this is our brainstorming session, like you did earlier. We're going to now kind of just do some of this brainstorming.
One prompt. The great thing about this that I've found as well is that if you get a bit stuck, you're not 100% sure what to take as the next steps, etc., especially if you're on your own, if you're setting the business up by yourself, which I have done multiple occasions, and having a business partner I can tell you is significantly easier, this is a really great way to sort of make sure you're getting things moving and doing what we're doing, right? So, having to help you brainstorm and develop health, right? So, have a little look. This could be anything from chronic disease. Right, so where do we want to go? So, do we want to do chronic disease management or mental health or fitness tracking?
Fitness tracking.
Fitness tracking, right.
Only because I'm going to go for a run later, so let's see
Okay.
what comes up with. Fitness tracking.
I want. Right.
So fitness tracking, give me some ideas. Okay, here they come.
Social fitness tracker. Have a little
Look at that.
look. Oh, blimey.
Let's give us a few there.
Alright, so social accountability matches, contextual workout recommender. Okay, perfect. Let's have a little look. So, as an example, one of the things. Oh, I love that mood lighting. So, one of the main things that you want to be able to do is find out what the competition is like, what sort of businesses are out there, which one's going to be the most valuable one to go for. So I can give it to Perplexity.
Remember, this is just the research stage still at this time.
Right. So you take the information you've got from Claude, run it into Perplexity, it's going to do a live search of all of the information that I've just given it, it's going to give me sources of information, and it's going to suggest which one would be potentially the best one to do. Now obviously I would do a fair amount more research into this, but it's going to give me the conclusions. It reckons...
Let's go for smart home gym equipment.
Smart home gym equipment. Okay then, let's go for that.
Random, but hey.
And then if you want the source of the information, I can click there and I can find that. There's a whole wealth of other things that you can do with that as you develop it out, but essentially this is the very surface level capabilities. Is this stuff that, we've all done before? Have we engaged with AIs in this way? Like, how have we, is this something that we all know and have experience with already? Or is this kind of new ways that we're using it? Yeah, no, yeah. Okay.
I think lights are needed.
Yeah.
Your research is up.
Yeah, there we go.
That's it.
Oh, well, I'm going to assume that we're kind of there and kind of not. So we're going to come back to digital health. We're going to go, let's go for this one. Smart home equipment. Perfect. Core features. It's essentially building it out for us in its entirety, right? Okay, great. I've not even read this.
So, can't see what Matt's writing here. Okay, great. Give me a prompt to create a digital interface with AI. Coding.
Right. So rather than me going and prompting the bold.new that we've shown you on here, nope, that's that one. Where are we? We are here. Rather than me going and prompting it, I can get a prompt written up by Claude for me. So I'm going to click this one. So we've got all of those. And I'm going to take the prompt that Claude gives. Oh, that is not what I wanted. Look, here we go. This is one of the times where it's not giving me what I wanted. So I don't want that. I'm going to stop it because it's right in the code. Right.
Building the app.
Yeah. I don't want you to build the app because I'm going to get Bolt to do that. Write me a prompt to create. Write me a prompt that I can. Sometimes you have to be a bit more specific. Hopefully it does it right this time. Here we go.
Just bear in mind, when you're talking to an AI, it's a bit like talking to a human.
Yep.
Okay, if you don't explain it well enough, if I was having a conversation with you and I was telling you something and you don't get it, you're going to get confused and you're going to tell me the wrong answer. So I have to be clear with, when I'm talking to somebody else, human, well, I need to be the same with AI. I have to give it clear, detailed instructions. If you miss out some of the detail, sometimes it can correct itself, as you saw, but actually then throws out the wrong answer.
Yeah.
Just assuming English is not a second language, English is not a first language, so can they choose a different language to have a conversation?
A lot of these AIs are multilingual. So you've got Claude, as far as I'm aware, is very multilingual. GPT is very good with multilingual. All of these ones. So a lot of them are. So you can essentially write in the language that you would have, depending on your IP, it'll often automatically do that for you. I haven't personally done that a huge amount, but I know that they are very good at that. And we work with people to leverage that to translate content, which can be incredibly valuable. So if you've got your own website, if you can translate content to multiple languages and it flows and it actually speaks as it should, that can have you rank quite highly quite quickly in some other countries.
So I know I was interacting with one of the Chinese students. They don't understand English, and I used ChatGPT, the audio function.
Yeah.
So I just prompted saying, "Can you please translate this to?"
Be my translator. Yeah.
It did.
It's another great way of using
Yeah.
AI, isn't it?
And
Audio was good, but I was not aware of the text.
No, it's not perfect, but it's a really great way that actually can bring us together a little bit easier as well. So that's really
It's better than your Chinese on car.
Huh?
It's better than your Chinese.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's fine.
So let's take that prompt.
And we're going to give it to an AI. So imagine like literally in what, 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah. 10 minutes if that.
From nothing to idea. I'm going to chuck that in there. I'm going to let you watch it build, right? So it's going to start coding. It's fun to watch this, to be honest. But when it starts, it's literally building it in React. It's going to add all of the database files. It's going to do all of this other stuff so you can watch it build live, right? So while that's working, let's go back to Claude. Come up with some names for me. Come up with some names.
So if you, once it's completing building the application and you want to change something in the app, do you have to, just prompt it?
Still building. It's going to be quite a big one because that was quite a big prompt. You just talk to it. I don't like that, change it. I don't like that, change it.
Change the colour, change the size, literally talk to it. Yeah.
It's not perfect in every way. It's fairly new technology, but it is pretty good. There are settings in there that you can change so that it only changes specific things, and it's often good to kind of swap between the two. Because on occasion, with Bolt in particular, what I've found is I've said, I need you to change this, and then it's rewritten like a whole chunk of it. But you can very easily go back a step. That's the benefit of it. You just go back a step, it deletes the previous bit, you rewrite the prompt, you make sure that you're asking the right questions.
There's some great ones here. Fitly. Quite like that.
I wonder if it's already real. Should we Google it?
Just out of interest, I just like this.
Oh,
Got a nice flow, isn't it?
Fitly is a good one.
But he's given us lots of different options there anyway. But
I feel like
potential
Fitly
company
already
names
exists.
or brand names that there is so we've got that.
Let's pretend it doesn't exist. But equally, you can go and then do the relevant research, right? So you can chuck all of those names into Perplexity and go, which one of these doesn't exist? Do that now if you want to see what happens. So, again, it's just about how quickly you can come up with one of these ideas. So I'm going here. Which of these is not already a company? Common technical. Cool.
And you can see that Matt's moving from different AIs because they have abilities to do things better.
Yeah.
Different ways.
So why use Cloud instead of ChatGPT?
I personally prefer the responses. I prefer the formatting. When I send, so let me show you. So if I go to Claude, for example, when I send information into Claude, it stays formatted.
Okay.
So for me, like, it's good. Claude reads that formatting. It will consistently spit out exactly the same format. So as an example, one of the things that we're releasing pretty soon on our website is a glossary of terms. and that's going to be all AI different terms, AI automation terms, and to do that would usually take a huge amount of time. I've trained up a project on complexity, tested it out, and then we build an automation to do 50 at a time rather than me going manually doing it. But essentially I've given it a very strict set of instructions. It needs to write content that sounds like me, so I've given it content that I have written. Say, here's the content, so I'll show you what that looks like. Right, so let's have a little look. So I'm just going to go back here. If you click on projects, this is Claude. GPT's got the same thing, Gemini's got the same thing. You've got gems, projects, and GPTs. Right, they've all got a version of this. Just depends what you like using. Claude is a real preference for me because just lies to me less and gives me less grief.
Claude
right?
is like, you know, when you go back to school, it could be here, but when you're at school, you've got the person that's well dressed, you know, and super intelligent and just kind of fits in and probably kind of the bottom. That's Claude.
Doesn't speak out.
GPT, okay, is a little clown in the classroom that likes to play around and joke and lie, and that's kind of the difference. You know, put it into kind of human tech side of things.
That's a good analogy I love. You've got the outrageous rebel, naughty GPT, then you've got the very strict, regimented Claude that sometimes needs a little bit more guidance. But both are very, very good, and you know, I can't say that it's not. It is a fantastic AI model. I just don't use it. I don't get as good responses. But you can train up a project, and you can say to it, "You are my personal writing assistant." Give it a bunch of my content. You can attach the files to it as well. So, just to literally show you what that looks like, when you come through to the next step, you can attach various documents. So I can chuck in any from my drive. I can chuck in some from my PC, whatever it is I want to do, and then I can give it specific instructions, and then every time it's going to do it, it does it consistently. So when I did it with Claude, when we did our glossary of terms, I've got a very strict format I wanted to follow, and that's heading, paragraph, paragraph, bullet points. That's the exact format I want every single one of them to follow. I give Claude that format, I give it the terminology that I need to write the glossary of terms for me, I give it all of the terms, off it goes, it spits them all out. If I gave that to GPT, 50% of them would probably not look how I want them to look, right? Whereas every single one of them was perfect with Claude. Just personal experiences that I've had. Right, so you can do all of that.
So how are we getting on we've got a business name.
So question now, since now I think Bolt is preparing the smart home gym.
Done, yeah.
And this is a web-based
Web-based application, yeah, so you just
It's not
basically, it's
Python
React.
or-
No, it's React. So they use React predominantly, and then you can get a coder to, if something's not quite right.
Like say Google Kit, basically.
If you wanted to do that, essentially you would show them what the interface of the application looks like, and then it can be rebuilt in any language that they want. You know, in theory, you could give the code to another AI model and say, can you rebuild this in a different coding language? And then it potentially would do that for you. So React works good, it's rapid, it's very, very quick. So probably one of the reasons that they went for this. But you can download the code, and then you can upload it onto your own database, you can upload it wherever you want it to go.
But there are a lot of other things that need to be considered. Like
Oh yeah,
integration
This is very good for an MVP.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that this is going to be a tool that you use to create a product that goes mass market. This is fantastic for an MVP because you can come up with the idea, conceptualize it, build a working application for a small number of people. You can connect this to various APIs. It will do the API for you. And then once you've got that working and you can show that, you could look at then enhancing it, taking it further, giving the code to a developer to iron out any creases or anything like that. It's not perfect, but it's brilliant for an MVP. When you're looking at trying to build and develop a product early doors, you can use these applications and then you can show that to a potential investor. All of those things kind of open up a lot of doors for you.
This is like a research testing tool. This is what it could look like. We haven't developed it, we want feedback. You know, we don't want it to work like this, we want it to work. So you can keep developing and playing with this. So yeah, you're not going to come up with a full working product that you're going to start selling tomorrow. You have to.
And then the back end of it, like for example, how do you create like a user? How do you do? The
You ask it to do it. So I would say,
create a user like account, interface, preferences, settings, security, all of that. Yeah.
yeah.
It can do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So I haven't gone as far down the road as some of the people that I work with, but one of my contacts has built essentially a full stack application. It's got different levels of user. Each one of those users can see different things. I've started to build that, so I've got an administrative user, and I've got a standard user. Each one can only see their certain aspects. They can submit information, and then when they use the different tools within that, it will send it off to an engine that we've built using an automation tool, and then it will run through specific AIs that we use, and then it will bring the responses back into the platform.
Just to kind of bring us back to where we need to be.
Yep.
Think about, when we started this like 15, 20 minutes ago, we were just trying to do the research and get ideas. If you just look down the left-hand side here, it's telling you, what that app would consist of, how it would potentially integrate, some of the outputs that it would do, and it's obviously giving you a demo screen of that. So this is not, in 20 minutes we're not going to have something pitch perfect, but it's just what we're trying to do is demonstrate that if you're kind of doing some brainstorming, what a great tool to kind of get some ideas how it's going to look and start to build out that very minimal viable product. Why that's flicking back, go back to the name.
Yep.
Let's just now look at a bit of marketing side. So let's just pick a name, regardless of which one.
Flex Logic.
Flex Logic. Let's create, put you on the spot, let's create a logo and maybe some marketing content around that. I don't know, an executive summary, or if you want to throw it into, I don't know, a business planning canvas or something like that.
Yeah, we'll do exactly that. So we'll start with the logo.
So let's do a logo first.
We are going for
Again, this is just to give you a flavour. Okay.
create a prompt. I can give.
Can it do you like animated logos?
Animated logos, not on here. I mean, to be honest, so the way that I would do that, and even our AI guys' logo and stuff like that, I will get concepts from these AIs, and then I'll take that and I'll give that to a designer, and then they will make it real. Because you're not going to get that high resolution logo from one of these AIs. There are some that are designed for it. I mean, I haven't used them a huge amount myself because I'm very involved in these ones. But you want a high resolution logo. So for the sake of $50, you could go to somebody on Fiverr, for example, or a designer that you know. They would then turn it into a high resolution logo. They would give you the light dark versions of those logos. And then you've got something you can use consistently throughout. And always what I'm doing as well, this is good because you don't need to know how to use AI, you don't need to know how to prompt AI, because AI knows how to prompt AI. So I would just ask the AI, give me a prompt for it. And then if you're not sure that that's going to be a particular, because this is an absurdly long prompt to be totally honest. But let's have a little logo style, minimal. Okay, no, give me a one-shot prompt to create. Actually, let's go backwards. Okay. Give me some logo concept ideas text. See what comes up with it. Because then you can get some concepts, then you can get a prompt for it. So you're kind of taking it back a step so that you're getting information, right? The infinite form, the data pulse, the smart node. Let's go for the smart node. Create prompt. Go.
And then you can change if you want to change the
Amend
colors.
it.
Colors.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to go for that. I'm just going to give it to one of these. We'll give it to Gemini. See what it says. His detailed prompt. Create modern. There we go. Let's see what happens there. And then let's go to Not Diamond. The Not Diamond that I'm using here is the free version. I haven't paid for this one yet. So I can just prefer. Oh, I've got to choose what one I like the most first. And then I can send that in. Off it goes. See what Gemini comes back with. Don't hate it.
Start.
It's a start. Ooh, as long as it didn't explode. So I've got that there. So then you can just keep asking. Give another. If it loads. Here we go.
No, I know. Okay, cool. I was
No, go on.
going to say, like it, but add a company name or something like that to the logo or something.
The only thing is you're not going to get exactly the same logo through. But the good thing is if you get loads of different logos that you kind of like, give all of the different concepts to a designer and say, I like this bit, I like that bit, I like that bit, make it into a logo that's completely unique. Right, so that's that. And then let's see if Not Diamond has come back. There we go, those are the ones from Not Diamond. So straight away we've got the logos for both of those, right? So we've got a logo for our company, we've got a name for our company, and then if I go back to Claude, what do you want, David?
I don't know.
The business model canvas?
Sorry?
Business model canvas?
Yeah, go for it. Let's do a business model canvas for now, and then we'll do an executive summary. Okay, bear in mind, we haven't given it loads of information yet. We're just asking it to create stuff. So we'll be interested to see how well it handles a business model canvas at this stage. It's very limited what it knows about our idea at the moment.
So I took a screenshot of, oh, I did take a screenshot, it's gone, where was it? Downloads, business model canvas. Took a screenshot of the one from earlier on, and I'm just going to say, creating a business model canvas using this template, see what it comes up with. There you go. Easy peasy.
So put it into a table for me, similar to the one that's been uploaded to the image. Let's see what it does.
Structures it a little bit more.
Now it's generating it.
This might be using React as well, yep, so this uses React.
What's React?
It's a type of coding language. Right, so while that runs, let's come back here. Let's have a little look. So I have not got any Superbase space at the moment. So essentially what would happen with this one, I've just asked it to create the user. I've already got my two free, I don't use Superbase generally speaking, but you can connect up a Superbase for free, and then that's going to allow you the database, which will allow you to have users and have all of that information in there. I can see if it's doable, but whether or not I have space for it, I can't say for sure. But I do have.
So once you create the app user interface, can you navigate through it and see the process, how and test each process?
Yep. If I find one of the ones that I have started, let's see what this one looks like. That will spin up, whether or not I can do this. But then it will do it. I'm just going to reverse back because I don't have Superbase, so I'm just going to revert. So we can create like front-end interaction and stuff like that until you connect up a Superbase, but you can have Superbase. You get 2 accounts for free. Netlify, I think, gives you like 10 or 15 domains. So actually you can build, host, manage a really relatively small initial interface application for nothing, because it hasn't charged, wouldn't have charged you anything by now.
Let's go back to the planning canvas that is created, because I saw it was there.
Here we go.
So there you go, put that far from screen.
Publish and copy link. Go here, chuck that in.
So there you go.
So this information that you create through those tools are within the ecosystem that you're the only person access it, or is it a public?
So this is my chat with Claude. So with the front-facing applications, generally speaking, the free version trains the AI. The paid versions often don't, or they say they don't. Who knows with OpenAI? They're not supposed to train it. And then the API connections as well, they all claim it doesn't train the AI. So it's not supposed to. But this is my conversation. No one else has access to it unless I share this, right? So I've just published this. I could send you the link, and then you would be able to view this on your browser. And then you could remix the artifact, and then you can mess around with it and do your own thing. So if I was like, hey man, check out this really cool business model canvas idea, this is for my business, blah, 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 send you it over, you click remix, then you can make your own version of it.
Right, so we've got Brainstorming, and the last bit, just a demo before we get you doing some stuff, just take that and turn it and ask it to write an executive summary.
Okay.
So for our business plan, can you create an executive summary? And again, obviously you can hone in on these, okay? It's going to produce something now, it's not going to be perfect. You take it, maybe you'd add your own flair to it, but we're now just going to get our executive summary. There it comes. So it's given us our product overview, our market opportunity, financial projections. Financial projections are going to be based on data that's out there. Doesn't mean because it puts it in there, says whatever it was, $30 million or whatever I saw fly through. Doesn't mean obviously that's what it's necessarily worth, but it's just giving you some ideas. Okay, obviously you can take this now and you can obviously build this out. You've got your logo, you've got your brand name. We might create a headline or something like that. And we can even go down the route of just very quickly, one last prompt we put in, and again, I'll let you do that one.
Give it the executive summary, ask it to do competitor analysis, find out who else is out there, do a quick SWOT analysis for us, and that just it just makes things easier.
And I was going to say, but we won't get the idea. You could say, I'm going to now create a website, create the website content. And then start to build out the content. Obviously, you have that chat with it, give it more information, and it can build out your web content for you.
Literally
What does the website need to have?
From
a home page through a services page to a contact page. What do I have on each of those pages? What are the key messages? All of that stuff now can be driven through here. So it's now going to do all that hard work for you.
Create me a prompt. Right, because we were showing you an application, Claude can also do websites. So it's going to do create a modern, responsive website for the flexi run, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I must admit, this is a bit wordy. I'd probably have it a little bit shorter. But I can take this, give it to bulk, and then ask it to build me a website.
Right, so we'll let that run. So while that's running, we'll see what it comes up in a second. So we want to give you a flavour. Earlier, you had 25 minutes, whatever it was, and you kind of come up with some notes and ideas and brainstormed. Important. Bring this to the table and start to feed those ideas that you're sharing into your brainstorming session, and now you're producing real content. Now, this is, as I said, about starting a business. Okay, but you could use it for anything. It could just be you want to come up with a new idea or a new service in the business that you're working within. It could be for research that you're doing. Okay, you could use it for any particular reason. We just built it around a business idea. Okay, but obviously you can do what you like with it. So what we're going to ask you to do while that's still churning away, it shouldn't take too long. We've got 45 minutes left on the clock. I'm conscious of your time as well, because I know you rather go earlier rather than later. So we will finish no later than. But I want you to, back in your teams, okay, you can put that QR code back up so you can use Matt's bot, his own GPT, so you can get chatting with it. We want to take what you've done this morning and start to drill it down. Get it to create a business planning canvas. If you want to use some of the other tools Matt's just shown, like bolts and stuff like that, in fact, Matt, in a minute, maybe we can just put a half a Word document on the screen and just kind of put the URLs there so people can go to them, or copy them, take a photo of them so you've got them. So we'll just list the URLs for the ones that we're currently using. There you go. Look, there's our website. Okay, so look, this is not something you're gonna. It's a mock-up. Okay, it's a demo website, but look how quick that's built. 3 minutes. And you've now got kind of a mock-up website. And then you can keep, as Matt is now, keep challenging it, keep communicating with it, keep developing it.
So I know this tool helps a lot, building the foundation for any small businesses. So in comparison to hiring someone to do it, what would be the cost difference here?
This cost me nothing so far.
I would someone that can obviously put the information into it.
Build into the level of that detail.
So far we have not used or exceeded what would have been free credits. So on Claude you get a certain amount for free. Again, if you're using a free account, it does train up on your data. On this you get free credits. We haven't exceeded what would normally be that. Obviously I'm on the paid, but when I first started I basically prompted significantly more than what we did here. Built like an initial version of an app to see what was going on. And it didn't stop me until I was quite far into the process. So far, this wouldn't have cost us anything. I'm on the free Chat Not Diamond. Gemini 2.0 doesn't cost anything. If you've got Google Workspace, Gemini is free now for all Google Workspace users. So worst case scenario, maybe $20 for the month. versus paying somebody. We still develop websites, generally speaking. The minimum we would take on is £3,000 for a website, but because of these AI tools, we can develop significantly more advanced websites for that same price. Right, so that's essentially what you'd be.
Rather than lowering your cost, you say scale it.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So I mean, there's no from us financially. Like it doesn't make sense for us to do a website for £500. Like we just wouldn't do it. We would say you need to go and build it yourself. There's no harm in doing that.
You can find on Fiverr.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and we're not interested in that. So we would say we stick to the £3,000 minimum, but we're going to build out the things that we
But
don't
you can
build.
send this through to them, what you're going to see in a moment, and say, look, this is the website, pick it up and build it from here. You can use, this is, again, it's a way of getting ideas, backing them down, building it out. This is not going to be the perfect output in the time that we're working on it.
Yeah.
But even if you spend a whole day doing what we're doing, imagine what you can get in a day.
I mean, it's really a useful tool to start something out, and the integration part, the hosting part, everything. Like
it depends on use case, right? If you're talking about a small business that doesn't need any kind of functionality on their website, then something like this is great. They only need one page, they just need the information, animations and stuff, that's fine. If you're looking at a business like ours or something like that where you want more integrations, what I tend to do is I will chat with this, come up with a design. I've given it the designs of our website, and I'll say, this is our website design. Can you please come up with some concepts of this page, that page, this page, that page? I'll take that, I'll give that to our developer, and I'll say, there you go, can you build this for us on WordPress? Because we use a lot of those plugins, there's a lot of other things to consider. When you're looking at things like SEO, marketability, functionality, this will take you to a point, but I haven't dove deep enough to be able to say what the search functionality would be in terms of SEO and things like that. I don't know enough about that yet. That's something that we're looking into now. So we would do design here and then we would move to WordPress and develop it on there.
I mean, also the back end of it, the dashboard, the integration with payment gateway for any online payment. These are.
Yeah, but this is what you pick up and you put into a, in the most basic terminology, a Wix or a Squarespace, or recode it into WordPress, or have someone build it, code upwards. So yeah, again, this is not building a website for you to publish out there in the public domain, and it's going to do everything you want it to do. Yeah. It's to get brainstorming. And one last thing before we hand over to you. If you are using, and I said obviously if you are using it for university use, you have to be careful, and like you said. So what if, Matt, we've got some stuff here and we want to check if it's how heavy AI based it is. And I think this is a useful tool for everybody to know. So
yeah, this is one of my favourites. We use it as well. So obviously we use AI to help us with our content. The strategy that I use to create long form content now is I will do a video, because I can quite clearly talk for England. And then I will take that video, get the transcript, give it to trained AIs to then develop a long form blog. And then I will essentially reformat, rewrite that so that it's more in my tone of voice, though I have trained it on my tone of voice. And then I'll run it through this tool, which is called originality.ai. And then you can give it big chunky pieces of content. You can just give it a page, a web page if you want, and it will pull the content from that web page. And then you can check it against. So I can give it big walls of content and it will tell me whether or not it's AI generated and how much it reckons is AI generated. So it will say it's 50%, it's 60%, it's this, it's that.
Access to references, databases.
So this one can do plagiarism checks as well. So if you want to do a plagiarism check, if it's anywhere else on the internet, then it'll find it for you. Yeah.
it's a really good point that's been made down here.
Please, yeah.
In the university, obviously you're told not to use AI, to do your research and etc., and go to the library and all of that. And I get part of the philosophy behind that. But then when you step out of the education world, what do you do?
Yeah.
You're going to go to AI, of course you are. But why wouldn't you
not to
use the tools
AI
that
to write your document?
Yeah. But using it for research and things like that,
Use it for research. Like Google is an old conventional way of using
finding that information. I said to Matt on the way up here, one of the things that I'm amazed at copywriters. Okay, there's lots of copywriters around the world, and they're experts at writing text and copy and print and stuff like that. But I would challenge any copywriter today that once prompted in a good AI, it can write better content than a person these days.
has a better overall vocabulary, it can go off and do the research and the accuracy, and guess what? It can do it in seconds. So this is where robots, bots, will replace jobs. No ifs, buts and maybes.
The other thing on that is just, as it stands at the moment, AI writing and content can generally be picked up by tools like Originality AI and various different things because of the way that the AI, everybody has a fingerprint. So if you write content, if anybody here writes content, you'll essentially have a content print, right? Fingerprint that is unique to you, the way you use different terminologies, the way you use punctuation, all of those things is unique to you. And similarly, AI has the same sort of thing because essentially AI's fingerprint is an amalgamation of all of the content that it's read, right? So actually it's kind of not its own, it's everybody else's. So it's important that if you are going to write content with AI for your own website or whatever it is, you want to check through and make sure that you're really a minimum of 70% it says it's human, right, rather than AI, because it can be detected at the moment. I mean, whether or not it always will be able to get detected, who knows, probably not, but at the moment it can.
As the AI gets smarter, it will trick the AI. Right, okay. That's enough on the demos. Matt will put up in a second. Keep that QR code up there if you want to use the WhatsApp one. We'll put a little bit of a Word document or a document down, just giving you those tools that Matt's used this afternoon, so you can take a picture of them or write them down or start using them. What I want you to do for the half an hour, okay, and then we will close up and finish for the day, is use some of the things that we've demonstrated to work on your idea. Now remember, you have some time tomorrow, but tomorrow I'm going to ask you in your team to prepare a pitch, a presentation to deliver. Okay? We're not aiming for professionalism here. We're aiming for 4 or 5 minutes talking about your idea. So the more content you can research now, and if you want to, put a slide up here or show us an MVP or something you popped up using Bolt or similar. If you want to just show us a demo website, awesome. There's no requirement to do that, but what we do want you to do is pitch, tell us about your idea and how you come up with the concept. Some of you already shared that very loosely, but this is going to be a bit more than that. And you're going to be doing it in your teams, okay? And you don't all have to present. If just one of you wants to be that presenter, that's absolutely fine. But I encourage you all to be involved in some way, shape or form, in either putting the presentation together, preparing if you're going to use slides, doing some slides, standing up here and doing the presentation. Okay, but that's after lunch tomorrow, so you're going to have tomorrow to perfect this as well. And I've got some more bits I'm going to share with you tomorrow morning around marketing. So the first thing tomorrow, I'm going to hit a bit of marketing, okay, a couple of challenges for you to overcome and work on, and then you're going to get the time just to finish off, prepare your presentation. After lunch, we're going to see some of those in action.
I'll give you one more as well. This is specifically because you were talking about research papers. I don't know if this is the one you were talking about, but there's a tool called typeset.io. I'll chuck it in the links. This one is specifically for research papers. So you can search for a topic, it's going to find a research paper, and then you can actually have the conversations with that research paper. So you can give me a topic if you want, and I'll quickly chuck it in.
Hydrogen fuel cells.
Hydrogen fuel cells. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using hydrogen fuel cells? So this is a white paper, and then provided it loads, you can engage with it, ask it questions, it gives you cliff notes. You can then just mess around with it as you need to. So finding those papers, and this is actual research papers, cites all the information, really quite useful when it comes to researching specific industries or problems or anything like that. So
just out of interest, I just want to try and prove or disprove a point. Go back to the search on this, and put in cybersecurity UAE. Should we try it? I've got no idea what it's going to turn out. I'm going to sit down for this.
Cybersecurity UAE. What are the cyber threats in the UAE and how can they be mitigated? How does the UAE cybersecurity framework compare to other countries in the Middle East? What role do artificial intelligence and machines play in enhancing the cybersecurity? Let's go for that one.
No, I'm sorry, I'm just intrigued to see what he found.
So these will be research papers that have come through us. Very, very, very handy. So answers from top 5 papers, you've got all of that here, and then you've got all of the papers here. Click through to them, engage with them. I've not messed around with this one a huge amount. I have played around with it a little bit, but I've not had the need to, because some people here might have.
Bad, you know.
And then you're asking questions about a specific paper. You can request the paper as well, and just say, does it cover this? Does it cover that? What are the key points? Chat with the paper here. Look, standard chat. Tell me X, Y, Z. Explain the abstract to this paper. Just have a conversation with it about that. Yeah. So
Pretty cool.
there's an AI for that.
Pretty cool. There's an AI for it.
There's
The
a
phrase,
website.
the phrase used to be there's an app for that, and now there is an AI for that.
Where there's a website called There's an AI for that, so you can do a search and see if something exists. So yeah, just another little very, very valuable tool if you're going to be using those sorts of things. I'll chuck all of these links into a document.
I think I'm gonna, I have like 12 to 15 different agreements with contractors to develop certain tools, and I'm just gonna terminate all these contractors. Go out of business, guys.
It's important to know what's going on because there's nothing we can do to change it, right?
Yeah.
And it's also the people that are going to benefit the most from these tools, in our opinion, are the people that can use these tools and still see the value in how they can place their team members in a really effective way, right? How you can scale. One of the metrics that we really pay attention to is profit per employee. If we can increase the profit per employee, then the scalability of a business is much easier. If you're making £60,000 or dollars, whatever it is per employee, if you can double that to £120,000 by using some of these tools, and then you can increase the value of that single employee, they're then doing things that they prefer to enjoy, they prefer to do, more human-to-human interaction, your business becomes more scalable, right? It's infinitely valuable to businesses that use it in the right way and still keep a human in the loop is the sort of terminology. Yeah.
Right, 20 minutes left on the clock, so we will finish a little bit early. So spend this last bit just picking up on your idea, maybe interacting with some of the AI in preparation for tomorrow. So this is kind of what I call library time. Bit of quiet time to think through, chat through. Feel free to talk, you haven't got to be quiet. And let's see what you come up with. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so. If you're not sure about anything that we've covered, come up and have a chat with Matt. There's the